What's up, y'all? I'm Jay Funkadelic, and welcome to the Funkable Operator Podcast, episode 19. I've been in the hospital. I've had surgery. My gallbladder had been removed, and I had a lot of pain in my gullet. The doctor found out that I had gallstones in my stomach, and they had to remove it. So I'm better now. I'm taking my proper painkillers for the medication. I got to go to the hospital back in 2 weeks and see how I'm feeling. They're going to weigh me, whatnot. So the situation with myself is all gravy and all good. And there's a lot on my mind and we need to talk about today on the Funkable Operator Podcast, episode 19 by Jay Funkadelic. I've been hearing a lot of, hip-hop events coming in the near future. I hopefully they come back to like hang out again like later on this year. I'm dropping another hip hop album. Hopefully I'm gonna start recording it like in March or April. The Rise of Funkville 20th anniversary album. Be on the lookout for that really soon, and on all digital platforms. Taking my hip hop to the real extreme these days and making sure everything is going proper for my own self and do what I need to do in life and not give a fuck about nobody else and just be who I am today, how I remain today. There's a lot of shit going on in life. I heard it was on the news that somebody was on a stabbing spree and the cops caught the guy, locked him up. He threw the knife away, locked up, threw away the key if you do something stupid and not really give a shit about what are people do in life. A lot of people are real spiteful. I remember being at Westchester Square yesterday, dropping my Scratch Ropes tickets, and the lady was like fighting me to pick up the tickets that were really jinxy. But there was a lot of shit that been happening to me in my own situations where people are going to be spiteful for the rest of their lives until I'm dead, until everybody goes to heaven. What I'm saying is there's people are going to be very, accountable for what I do because there's spiteful people that don't really give a shit about nobody else and trying to make sure everything is all right with my own self and not give a fuck about anybody who I know somebody's trying to be who they want to be and forgetting all the process. Well, I've been to the hospital. I went to Montefiore. They did surgery on my stomach. Okay, the operation took like a half an hour. They put me to sleep. They did some good ass surgery for me, and I'm still smoking. But I'm still smoking because I'm kind of nerved up if I don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? But I know smoking ain't no good for people, but it's a crazy, 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 crazy habit that we all have for my only well-being that we see in life and really getting it on for some type of reason. Taking it easy for the record straight, trying to do better, trying to see how you would be in order to get it on, for that word is born, and really think that the surgery was all right. I felt no pain and no gain, like the R&B song. But I really got my own self to think about hanging out in the near future. It's snowing today. It was snowing for the past days, and it's snowing right now. You can see it outside. It could be really snowing from the window in the back of me. And, I wanted to be outside. I know on the floors and the concrete is kind of slippery, and that's why you need salt to melt the ice. Or when it rains, it just pours. Or when the sun comes out, the snow be melting. When the weather gets a lot warmer, probably like in March or April. Remember, April showers bring May flowers. And that's what God recommended. That's what Mother Nature recommended. And, there's a lot been going on in my own life. Trying to take it easy for my own self. Don't give a fuck about nobody. People complain a lot. People are going to be fucking continuing complaining, acting like they're your mother and father, but unfortunately they're not. Take away all the anger out of your head. Even when people piss me off, they be saying kind of crazy shit. And I understand, Eric Adams is the mayor. Like, he had the migrants coming in New York trying to find a place to live. But, a lot of migrants, I heard they don't respect other people. But I don't really give two shits and three fucks about it. Whatever the case may be. And how people would like survive in their own other terms and their terms. Making sure everything is okay for your own self, on your well-being, and do what you need to do. I like having a better life. I didn't work for a whole week. I've been off for a whole week. So I had to get better because I've been in surgery. There was no work all week because of the snow. I'm an outdoor worker. And I like to sweep. I like to wax the windows. When I'm on my job, it's a 2-hour job that I have. That I do most of the times, 3 days a week. Only in the mornings I'll be working and trying to survive to make all the money that I need to make, even if I work like, what I'm saying, I don't want to say off the books, but I don't want to say it on live, but I just got to get my point across that a lot of people, could work off the books. What I'm saying? A lot of people work off the books when they're their own boss and do what they got to do and making sure everything is okay for their own selves. And making sure you can be happy in your life. Don't give a shit about what the world could come to, how paranoid you can be, how relaxed you can be, and making sure everything can be okay for your record straight. And that's what the fuck I'm talking about. You don't need people to aggravate you. You want to be a rapper, you want to be an artist, you do it. But you know what? You don't have to forget about or fuck school, like Big Pun said in the movie Burdick Was Born. You would have to go to school, 2 schools to be a dope MC. Okay? You got to go to like 2 or 3 schools or go to college to learn how to rap good and make sure your lyrics are really proper when you write them down on a piece of paper, and make sure they rhyme when you put a comma next to the with the pad and paper. Every time you're going to spit a rhyme to a verse, like you write rhymes like a paragraph, and you write the whole verse on the whole paper on the front side, and then you write 2 lyrics on the other side, and then you put a line to make a 2 and a 3rd verse. That's how you want to be lyrical for your own self, to understand that people are just, want to be lyrical. I know they do it on the phone, but I don't want to do it on the phone. This shit is whack. I like to get a piece of paper and just write my lyrics down from the top to the bottom. I always write my lyrics, put like a title in on the top, already on the top, and write the lyrics all the way from the top to the bottom. 3rd verse on the top, second verse on the top, 3rd verse on the bottom. And cross the line and make a line from the third in the middle of the piece of paper. Write the 2nd verse down, and then you write the 3rd verse down. That's how you make a full hip-hop song. And there's a lot of things that you want to do with hip-hop, making sampling beats, know your pattern of making the beats, and try to market your records and do what you need to do in your life, and really, get it on point. Make sure it sounds proper. Every time you're in some studio recording a session, and make your shit sound really better for your own terms. I've been in the studio for almost 21 years already. 20 years I've been recording with Jermaine Bright Boy Yorkie at Tron Recording Studios in Parkchester, known and to understand that the studio was a good place to let my shit out of my head. And the studio was like my medicine, just to make hip-hop rhymes and rhyme off the hardcore beats and making sure they sound real proper. You know what I'm saying? I like to rhyme off to some boom bap, hip-hop, piano, or even other instrumentals, the way it sounds good, the way it sounds proper, the way it sounds kind of phenomenal, the way it should be, and how it gets done. The situation with going to the studio to take your time to spit a verse. I don't do that mumble rap nowadays. I don't fuck up the whole words. Even if I fuck up the words, I gotta keep doing it over and over till it sounds proper. I gotta make the lyrics sound real proper because I want people to feel it and, of course, smell it. That's how the song could be done, and how it gets done, and how you clean up the tracks after your session is finished. Mixing, mastering, and doing all this type of Pro Tool work, and before that, it was a Fruity Loop work to make the beats. Before there was a Fruity Loop studio, there was an MPC that my man had to use to make the beats, and record it on the computer, and then we had to go in the vocal booth and then take my pad of ROMs and spit my ass off to do what I need to do to rap on the mic, and just put my mouth on the mic and just, record the way I should record. The way how it gets done. The way how you represent your own hip-hop and other genres to the fullest. You can even do an R&B track and record an R&B track when you're doing the Pro Tools session, even if the engineer has the program. You know what I'm saying? You could do one on other programs like Logic or on the MPC Live or any other like beat machine you have. Because back in the day, they had an 8-track, they had an 808, and people used to record on there and making funky, dope records and making the beat sound funky and ratchet. Nowadays, and hip-hop, changed the game to be the number one genre in all American and all mankind. And, making beats is kind of phenomenal. Because I don't know really how to make beats. I would love to learn how to make hip-hop beats and try to, make the beats kind of funky enough. Like the DOC did that record. It's funky enough. And a lot of shit be happening. A lot of magical things be happening when you're recording the studio and making the record sound really phenomenal and unbelievable. And the record's got to be real tough. If you're going to rhyme off to an underground or a boom bap beat or a trap beat or a drill beat, making sure the rhymes sound kind of proper, making sure your voice sounds clear so people can understand what the fuck you're saying on the lyrics, with the beat rocking, taking it easy for the record straight. And that's how shit can get done from the bottom up, Being in the hip-hop industry would not be easy. I would have to pay money in order to play my records on the radio. If you don't pay, they don't have to play. Your records be sitting on the shelf no matter what could happen. Because, you got to pay them a good amount of money for the budget to hear the people, to hear your record and get heard. And people could, understand where the hell you're coming from. Try to make everything happen the best way you can. And try to be funkable, try to be lyrical, try to rap like you're a poet, doing your own thing. Shout out to Nas, shout out to all the rappers that were lyrical and poets like Eminem or LL or anybody else you see in the hip-hop game, knowing that you want to be a better rapper, knowing you want to be a better MC, a better DJ, a better phenomenal rapper you could ever be in life, trying to get your point across, to rap like a boss. The shit, how it goes down when you want to rep your town and understand why, that you got to rap like you always fly. That could rhyme the way it should go when you got a flow. Because you could be in the 70s, you could rap if you still had an afro. Don't give it up. You can rock a show. You can rap like a pro. Because when you rock on the mic, you can tell these people you can lay low. Don't give a fuck if you're a bro to a brother, a sis to a sister. Because, the hip-hop stuff, like love's going to get you. Love can get you. Like Harris once said. And shout out to Boogie Down Productions. Rest in peace to Willie D, Melody, and DJ Scott LaRock. Shout out to my boy D Nice. Shout out to McBoo. Shout out to my man Blastmaster KRS-One. As I must say it again, for the record straight, that hip-hop started in the Bronx. We all know hip-hop started in the Bronx. But a lot of people didn't understand when they were born years later that people had to study the hip-hop elements and, how to sample hip-hop beats and make them sound phenomenal to R&B beats, going with hip-hop beats and making it sound like a phenomenal record, making it sound right. Back in the day, there was cassette tapes and playing cassettes on the radio before they had an iPhone, before they had technology cell phones from Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. The technology of an iPhone was invented in 2007. Do you think you remember a first iPhone was invented in 2007 in the fall? Could understand why. I didn't have an iPhone back in the day. I had cassettes and I had CDs and I had vinyl playing, rocking, doing its thing, making sure it sounds proper. If the CD ain't skipping or your records ain't skipping, or you can make it take rock till it pops, making everything happen the best way it should. And you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because I could take it back to vinyl, I could take it back to a 45 record or a cassette, a CD or a memory card to make sure your record sounds kind of phenomenal. And you know what I'm talking about with the situation in my life, to understand a record could sound real good even if the CD ain't even skipping or even trying to say it too many times. Notice how Jay Funkadelic understood about sampling beats and make funky dope records. But back in the 80s and 90s, I was not in the studio. I had to wait until 2003 to go to the studio and record. But maybe earlier than that, I was in the studio recording some real funky dope shit for my own goddamn self and make everything happen the way it should happen. I got some unreleased demo tracks, but I wasn't really feeling it. But now I understand how people could really represent hip-hop to the fullest. Before there was Hot 97 and Power 105.1, and before there was a many-ass hip-hop stations that were around, they had a lot of Yo MTV Raps. Before that, you had Video Music Box, and then you had Rap City, The Basement, you had Soul Jams, you had etc. Wherever the fuck you wanted to watch. Especially you even had 106 in Park, after Rap City was on the air, and then you had 106 in Park on Black Entertainment Television from the BET networks. You had the Source Awards, you had the Vibe Awards, and you had and of course right nowadays you have the BET Hip Hop Awards, and also in like in the spring in the summer you have the BET Awards. And, watching was kind of phenomenal. I remember when Michael Jackson and James Brown was on there at the same time, because we sampled their records. They were like really known to understand that hip-hop is sampled from James Brown and Michael Jackson, Palmer Funkadelic, Sly and the Family Stone, and other hip-hop records that we always want to hear from the Foundation, from Kool Herc and Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash, The Furious Five, and Grandmaster Melly Mel, and Grandmaster Cass. But hip-hop didn't invent anything, but hip-hop reinvented everything. And that's a fact. How hip-hop could sound when you watch these rap documentaries. I remember being at the movies in Whitestone Theater before it closed down. I was watching a hip-hop documentary called Rhyme and Reason when I was like 20, back in 1997. I was watching a hip-hop documentary, Rhyme and Reason, and I was watching the show when it was in the theaters also. There was too many hip-hop documentaries I was watching, from the Beef, from the Wu-Tang, from all the shit that I've been jumping off in my own entire life. And we know we have to learn how to rhyme, learn how to have inspiration to rap on every microphone that we bust. You know what I'm saying? And how much, like bars, we always want to wreck for the record straight. And you know what time it is. Just like Flavor Flav had his clock saying, yeah, boy, Cole Medina, word to burger. You know how shit could be in life. When you want to rap and go to a hip-hop concert and study the DJ's music, and you go to the platforms and knowing that you get a playlist of what records you're going to play on the radio. There's a lot of shit you can play on the radio and do your own thing and make sure it happens the proper way, the way I see it and the way you see it. All right, I'm Jay Funkadelic, the Funkable Operator Podcast. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Peace.